All right. Welcome, everyone. We are live. Zenith Online Racing, Season 8, Round 12. We are in Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. One of the most well-known, most beloved circuits on the calendar. Some people don't really enjoy it, which I find hard to believe. And if you guys don't like the drive itself on the track, I guess, but I do love watching some racing here, so looking forward to it. I'm R. Bega. No GP tonight. He's phoned in sick on me. So he could watch the Patriots game. And it's a damn shame because we got Spa in the rain for qualifying. This is going to be pretty exciting stuff. Let me know how the audio sounds. I've got the... I'm used to being in the party chat, and I think the game might be a tad loud without the party quieting the game for me, so I might... It just sounds a little louder than I'm used to, but if everybody can hear me fine, then we're good to go. Up digital out there. I just feel like when we're on board, it's way louder than I'm used to. Riding on the right shoulder. Pop, you can see how slippery it is. The car just drifting through the corner. Lots of standing water. There's not really much of a line forming at this point. Obviously pretty early in qualifying, so plenty of running to do still. Hopefully the track will dry up a bit. Everybody is on the inters, so probably see the track times, or the lap time, sorry, just improve consistently, and towards the end, maybe everybody puts a fresh set on. I'd imagine if you're heading out there in these conditions, you're putting a lot of fuel in the car. I would probably stay out for 3 or 4 laps. Maybe kind of just feel it out, and if you decide to pit, you got to make that choice when there's about 5 minutes left, because it is a long lap. You can't, I think you got to be in the pits by, if you're in the pits by 3 minutes, probably okay, but you will have to stay out of the way, and a long lap, there's plenty of opportunities to trip over one another, so something they're going to have to look into and think about while they're out there. See if we can find somebody on a flyer. Looks like Zamaglis is pushing. Let's get on board with Zem. Again, if anyone in the chat able to let me know how the audio sounds on your end, just looking to get just to make sure it's balanced well. And I haven't done a non-party broadcast for a while, so I'm worried that the game might be a bit louder than normal. Zamaglis navigating Sector 2, currently heading towards Puhan, one of the best, probably, complexes in all of F1. I mean, the downhill, the sweeping left, it's enjoyable. When they nail it, it doesn't get much better than that. So, this sector, I would say, feels a bit clumsy at times, like the car just constantly wanting to fall away through those 2 corners. This one as well, the car really just dragging out to the left side, really pulling you off the road, and then you finally get some good balance as you crest through here and head down the back straight towards Blanchimont. Another one you're gonna have to lift in the rain for, but this part of the track, you're kind of like, the car feels under you again. You feel like it's pointing where you want it to go. The few corners leading up to that area, very difficult. It just never feels good. The car feels very clumsy through there, and I think that's what I like so much about Spa. There's so many different areas of. All right, thanks, James. Appreciate it. There's so many areas in the circuit that are so different from one another. Lots of, it really does feel like a proper circuit. The lap is long. You feel like you're on a journey through the forest, the Ardennes forest. The elevation change. Really, like at this point here, you are extremely far away from what is the pit lane. I mean, it's a very very nice. It's a very nice circuit, and it does cover a lot of ground. Lots of high speed, so obviously low downforce going to benefit people here in drier conditions. I think more downforce would benefit you in the rain. Obviously, you'd be much quicker through these corners, and there's already a serious lack of grip with the moisture on the track. So, but yeah, should be a good session, especially with the wet lap too. It's going to take a lot longer for these guys to get around. So I would say you'd fuel up for 2 laps. You'd probably do 2 good hot laps, get into the garage. You know, kind of let everybody else dry the track up a little bit for you, and then maybe get back out there for another final 2-lap run. You know, the first one you kind of just make sure you get it on the board, and then on the second one you got less fuel, maybe give it a real push. And there's a big spin for Sam, and he's nosed into the barricade. Sharpshooter is out of the session. I believe he is reserving though, so that would be intentional, as he's meant to start at the back, not allowed to qualify, and they don't score points. That being because they've come up from Tier 2 to race for tonight, give us a little more action on track, but they won't actually score points. If they were full-time reserves, as in they race Tier 1 only, but don't have a full-time seat, then they would score points. But I don't think we have any full-time reserves here tonight, so 12 actual Tier 1 drivers will be racing for 10 positions that hand out points tonight. So stakes are high. Obviously, you can't afford to have an incident and end up off the road, and you don't want to be doing that because literally finishing the race is probably going to net you at least 1 point. And round 12 points, very important. We do have Zenith back. Zenith last week could not get into his EA account, so he had to miss the race, and it was a big pain in the ass. Not gonna lie, it was, you know, it was frustrating for Zenith. He's fighting for a title. Packer came back and got a good win, and I don't think Packer's here again. I think Zenith realistically is sort of our actual championship leader here. You know, Packer's been here a long time with us, and he hasn't been racing all that much this season, but when he does show up, he always wins. So, I mean, we know he's the quickest driver, but for the guys that are here week in, week out, Zenith really he's been at the top since early on, and it's sort of a theme for Zenith. He starts strong and gets those points on the board early, and then, you know, things happen, and maybe gets a little flustered, and it piles on and builds up, and it just gets harder and harder to actually keep it going. So Zenith looking for a good result tonight. I do recall Zenith being very good at spawn, so I think he's gonna, look at that, he's basically flat out through there, and that's not something we saw earlier in some other laps. So I mean, Zenith could be on for a really nice lap here. He looks like he's got the car under him. The traction's working. He's got just enough battery to get it across the line. Lots of wheel spin, but hits on the power well. And that is provisional pole for Zenith. Nice job. Brian Scott, another driver. Very strong start to the season. He's been caught up in all kinds of trouble since then. Most of it not his fault. I don't think there's really much Brian's done wrong. It's just sort of unraveled, and as it does in racing, it does seem to happen to everybody. You know, there's ups and downs throughout the season. You get on a rhythm and you hit a stride, and then there's times where you lose that stride and you're stumbling, and that stumble sometimes snowballs into a tumble, and it just it can get much worse very quickly. So most guys doing a third lap. Adri's up 5/10, so let's ride with Adri for a moment, see what he does when he gets across the line. He's running low on battery as well. Yeah, probably harvest a little bit into this corner, and he should be okay to empty it out over the line here. Looks like a good lap from Adri. Let's get on boards. How's the wheel spin? Really good on the throttle, but it seemed like he was slower in general. Zenith applied a lot more power and more fought the car, where Adri sort of feathered it through, and I think that's where he would have lost a little bit of that time to Zenith. Obviously, around the whole lap, there's a lot to gain for Adri. He's well off the pace at the moment, and that's Puff, who's out, and I think he lost it in Puhan. Yeah, that was Puff there. I looked on the map and I saw that we just happened to be on board with Beck, who was going right by where Puff crashed. Located him on the map on the right, and then I realized that we were right there on board. So Puff out of qualifying. It's only 8th so far, and he's probably going to get knocked down a couple notches there once the other guys put some laps on the board. Beck's lap does not count. We got RC on an lap. Sam has just finished a flyer, and he's just starting one. Yeah, he's just starting one. So looks like Sam, RC, Brian, Lunar. So we're gonna ride with Sam first. Sam is gonna be our first final run candidate. I guess this could be a 2-lap run. I personally, if I was coming out at this point, I'd be putting 2 laps of fuel in for sure. Especially if you make a mistake or something, you could even maybe get a 3rd lap in if you harvest enough. So good run for Sam. 6/10 up. That is going to put him right where Puff is. And I will say it does look like it's clearing up a touch. I don't think we're going to get to dry tires, but I do think the track will be a lot less greasy in the next 6 minutes. So it does look like the rain's letting up a touch. Yeah, Puff has had a really... There's been bright spots for sure. There's been a lot of errors. There's been DNFs and qualifying crash outs, and it hasn't quite come together for Puff. Even in the races, he's had some really good starts and then sort of unraveled again, and I think he needs a good result tonight. I know he's not a huge fan of this circuit, but he'll be looking for some good points to try and ease the pain a little bit. Not a big deal if you start at the back here, though. And overtaking is quite easy. I wouldn't say there's much of a difficulty with overtaking. You even find when there's multiple cars grouped together that there's really no trains here. That straight is, the Kemmel straight is so long that there's just always a chance for one car to make a move down there. So Sam with a 55.4, that has demoted Puff. We got RC and Brian on hot laps. Brian's a little further up the road. Let's ride with Brian. Doesn't have a time yet, so this is really important for Brian. He needs to get one on the board here. He's got 4.5 minutes. And he should easily get another lap or 2 in after this one, but he needs a time, somewhat representative time. If he can get himself around P5 or 6 and then look to build on that, would be a good start. See what he can do. Lunar Jedi has been very strong lately. He's been pushing for those podium spots the last few weeks, and having a nice run since he has assumed his full-time seat after missing the first few races. Brian Scott purple through Sector 2. Not sure if that bug was ever fixed or ever will be. But he's definitely capable of a purple sector, so it's entirely possible. Now 54.7, right P4, right about what I was saying he should be aiming for to build on. And RC with a really nice lap. It's 54.7, just ahead of Brian. I mean, to think about that, a minute 54 around Spa in the wet, and the difference between their lap is 300ths. I mean, that's some pretty impressive stuff. Everybody really close to one another on lap times at the moment. And I wonder how much that'll change in the dry. I mean, assuming that it is dry. Real, it could be a wet race. Let's see, out lap. Got Asylum on a run. I think Jinnit also on a lap. Where's Jinnit? Jinnit probably behind, so let's ride with Asylum. Got traffic in front of him through Blanche. Oh my goodness, that was absolutely horrendous for whoever that was. The lack of awareness there. I mean, Asylum must be absolutely fuming. Completely robbed there. I mean, he's probably not prepared to do another lap with him. If I were him, I would just coast him and maybe get that final lap in. I don't know. I mean, that is just clumsy. That was Beck. That was Beck making his way back. Did he run out of fuel? Because if he did, I mean, I don't think the stewards will be looking too kindly at that. Well, Sam way off the road there. This looks very sloppy for Sam right now. RC's had a spin, it looks like. Get himself turned around. The time's falling quickly. Lunar up to pole now. Jinnit stays second. Third for Asylum. A little bit of lag with Jinnit's car. Understandable with him being all the way in the UK. Seye not improving. What else we got here? Sealing no spun. Andrew is on a fresh run. There he goes. 24 seconds to get pole from here. He's got a good shot at this. I mean, he's way down the timing sheets right now. I mean, Puff's going to end up starting 11th at this stage. That's really bad. Vinny hasn't set a lap. I guess he crashed out, Vinny. I must have missed that early. And a really good lap from Adri. 53.9. That puts him in the third. So he'll be able to fight from there. He's been very good in the races so far this year. I think that's going to be it for qualifying. I don't think we have anybody else on a run. Seye is up 9/10, he needs to finish this lap. Brian Scott is out. Jinnit looks like he may have lost it coming into the bus stop chicane. Very strange place to lose a car. Seye up to 5th now. And Zamaglis has had a moment. Looks like he's had an issue at the end of the lap as well. Interesting. So Asylum does get a lap time on the board. 54 flat. Obviously, I don't know if that would have been better or worse than the other lap because he had to lift. Beck, though, right in the way there. Gotta have a little more awareness. I think he was out of fuel and that was the problem. But, I mean, it's still at that point, like, you know, you can't run out of fuel during qualifying if you can't get your car around the track safely. So it'll be looked at as blocking regardless of the circumstances. It's pretty cut and dry there. So Beck likely will be. Generally for qualifying, obviously we can't apply grid penalties without proper stewarding, so we can't just go ahead and decide to do that. Seye's had a huge amount here. He's just bringing the car back around at this stage. He doesn't. I don't think he's actually setting a competitive lap time by any means. Let's say coasting around, and anyways, the oops, not clipping anything. I think we would look at that as probably just a 5-second penalty applied to your race, because I mean that's the only way we can really penalize a block like that. It'll obviously carry some penalty points that would go to the license as well, and I think it would be. I'm not sure. I don't want to say what the steward should give. I would say it's 5 seconds, and probably a penalty point on the license, possibly 2, but I'm pretty sure it's just 1. So Beck likely would have to overcome a 5-second penalty based on, you know, what we sort of expect the stewards would hand out for that. So he's going to have to take that into consideration while he's racing. If there's any sort of time gap strategies here, he needs to think about that. So Lunar on pole. Jinnit will start 2nd, Andrew's 3rd, Asylum 4th. Seye takes 5th. Beck starts 6th, 7th for Sam, Zamoglis 8th, RC 9th, Brian Scott is 10th, Pop Digital starts 11th, 12th for Vinny Sips, 13th for Sharpshooter, and 14th for Grim. The reserve drivers starting at the back. So appreciate them hanging out with the Tier 1 guys tonight. All right. Hopefully nobody readies up right away. Everyone knows the rules, I presume. And it looks dry. And I don't see a cloud in the sky. It's too bad they don't let you like look around a bit when this is happening. As a spectator, you know? Well, I'm going to take this moment to check the score of the football game. All right. Back from intermission. Anybody got any questions? Got a long formation we'll have to get through. Questions in the chat, racing related or not. What tire is everyone going to start on? I'm going to say, let's say, what do we got, 14 guys? Let's say 9 on the hards, 5 on the mediums. And the guys on the mediums will be near the front. Let's find out. Ooh, soft. I did not see that coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hards. That means we got 7 mediums and 1 soft. Interesting. So Jinnit on the soft is just clearly wants to get in front. I mean, I think Jinnit in front on the softs is, I mean, you know he's going to have to pit, but like there is probably going to be some kind of gap to filter into by the time he needs to. And I'd imagine he's going to gain a massive benefit over, like, for sure over Lunar. Adri Asylum I would be concerned about. Adri and Asylum would be the biggest concerns. I think Lunar obviously going to be going very long if he can keep up. I mean, Jinnit, for this to work for Jinnit, he absolutely has to get in front into turn 1 and just scamper away. There's no wasting time, no dicking around. It's got to be quick. And surely the run he'll get out of Radion would give him, at the minimum, he'd be ahead by then, I think. So interesting though. Soft tire. Didn't think anyone would go for it. I figured guys at the front on the mediums for sure, and then the guys deeper in the field start on the hards. But I mean, even Puff on 11th has gone for the medium tire, and I don't know. Is there a chance maybe it's going to rain? I guess it's possible. Maybe you guys thinking the medium is better because you get a more high quality drive until it rains. I don't see clouds though. I just can't see it raining. It does look a little hazy, I guess. Nah, that's just blue sky, isn't it? Yeah, it's not gonna rain. Maybe. It's a long race. Everybody pulling into their grid slot, and Zamoglis, big gap there to Zamoglis, and everybody else slotting in behind. Slide down the order. It looks like the final driver, Grim, taking the grid slot. Lunar Jedi is on pole position. He's got Jinnit and Adri for company. We have 3 lights on, 5 lights on, and we are racing in Spa. A good start for Adri. Jinnit gets off the line well. Lunar gonna be on big trouble here. Jinnit going around the outside. And it looks like he's got the place. Everybody else threw pretty clean. Oh, there's a spin there for an Aston Martin. Maybe it was Beck. Maybe contact with another driver. Let's get the grid back up. There's Adri and Asylum going wheel to wheel through Rouge. And Jinnit is in the lead. Seye looking to put some pressure on as well on the hard tire. Really good start for Seye. That's a terrible camera angle. I apologize for that. The race director had other plans. Let's get to Lunar's view. There we go. That's much better. So Lunar loses that place as well. So Seye now, it's down to Seye versus Jinnit again. It's been sort of the theme of the season so far. And Jinnit now with a 2-second lead. No surprise there, he's on the soft tire. I mean, Jinnit really needs a 10-second lead by the time he pits for that strategy to pay off. And I don't see why he can't get the hards to go to the end once he puts them on. So I think it could work out for Jinnit. This might be a really good game plan, especially if these guys behind spend a lot of time squabbling with one another. Could be a big issue. But look at this battle we've got going on here. Asylum with Sam right on the rear. The gap looks like it's broken there. Sam is not that close. Hopefully it'll fix itself. Sam looks like he may be his interval is desynced for some reason, but we'll get that back when he crosses the line, hopefully. So Asylum looking to make a move here. He's pressuring Adri. And Vinny RC, looks like Puff has had a moment. He's gone in the pits. Why has he done that? Rear front wing, maybe? Wing change? Yeah, wing change for Puff. Not a good way to start the race. Could go to the end, though, from there. If he gets a safety car, it could be alright. Andrew looking to make a move on Lunar now. He's got those mediums fired up. And a big switchback from Lunar. Is he going to get a move? No, it looks like Adri closed the door on him. So nothing there for Lunar. Asylum still at the back there watching Adri make way. So Lunar, the hards seem to be hurting him at the moment. Seye got them fired right up though. He is flying up there. But Lunar could not get those hards fired up, and it's cost him very dearly in the first few laps. Asylum now looking to put some serious pressure on, and there's a big moment there for Adri. Oh my goodness. Lunar obviously didn't realize Adri had lost the back end there, and he drove right into the back of his car. Drove straight into the back of him and smashed up Adri's wing really badly. His wing is demolished. He's definitely pitting. What a bizarre incident. Adri just lost it on his own. Yeah, Sam is desynced, I think. His delta is broken at the minimum. There we go. That's fixed. Alright, there we go. Oh man, I'm telling you, this game never ends with this shit. Goddamn code. Oh, big spin back there for Sharpshooter. I believe it was Sharpshooter. It was a McLaren. Oh no, he's just lagging, it looks like. Sharpshooter's car, I think, is just glitched. Sam seems okay. I think the timing was just bugged there, but looks like Sharpshooter's car is getting some lag with that. Puff with a penalty already. That's really unfortunate. And if Puff, I mean, his luck has just been awful this season. It's been really, really rough. That's got to be really discouraging. Wing damage again in another race early on, and running around like 17 seconds behind. Now he's picked up a penalty. I mean, it's just kick a man while he's down, right? Beck and Lunar are getting really dicey here. Really good little scrap there. So did Lunar pit? Oh wow, what a move from Lunar. You do not see an overtake through there very often. That was beautiful stuff. These guys are racing really hard with one another. And, this is going to end poorly for one of them if they keep it up. Very late on the brakes from Lunar there, and really nice job from Lunar to make sure that Beck didn't even have an opportunity to outbrake him there. RC and Vinny having a little scrap here as well, side by side, as they head down the hill towards the Rouge. Oh, it's the wrong way. Sorry, guys. It's so tough. So, Sharpshooter has gone around the outside there. His connection, man, is something. Anyway, yeah, sorry about that. They went to the shoulder cam as the cars are going side by side, right? Like, great camera work. Ugh. I just panicked and pushed the wrong button. So, apologies for that. Tried my best. Just dealt a shit hand. So this is the point now where Mercedes' tires got to be working pretty good. Jinnit out front on his own. He's got a 5-second gap. You should be able to continue increasing that. The softs do not really last long here, though. But here's the thing. Puff 15 seconds behind, right? So his pit... What does the pit stop cost? About 20 seconds here? It saves you a lot of crap. You go in. So, say Jinnit comes out 20 seconds from where he is. He is... maybe just in front of Grimm. That's a lot of traffic to fight through, so that's going to be a problem for Jinnit. Now, overtaking, not terribly difficult here. The problem is if you do get stuck, or you come up to a car, right after the best overtaking spot, you're going to be following them for quite a while before you actually have a good chance again. So, it's definitely something to consider for Jinnit. I don't know if it's going to work out running that much longer. The battle to say, obviously very prominent because he's the car right behind you, but really should be thinking about the gaps further down the field. And I'm sure he's looking at on his telemetry the pit rejoin position. He's probably paying attention to that and watching it. When it climbs, if it climbs up to a point where if he comes out in front of RC in 6th, now that is a much better scenario. So what I think he really needs is to turn the... What has he got at the moment? About 7.5. He's got about 12 seconds to RC. If he can turn that into 20, then it might be worth hitting. Sharpshooter picks up a penalty. Asylum carrying a penalty as well now. Zamoglis putting some pressure on Brian. We got Vinny and Sam close. Sharpshooter and RC are close. Got lots of little battles going on through the field here. So, Adri, 4.5 seconds behind Lunar. So Lunar, Adri lost the car. And I mean, Adri would have been in a bad spot anyway because he had already lost the car. But then Lunar crashed into the back of Adri's car and pushed him right into the barrier. So damaged his wing, forcing him to pit. He might have got away without that. I mean, it was just a really rough scenario for both drivers. Adri with an error that becomes far worse than it actually was. Lunar gets tangled up in it as well because he's followed so closely. This kind of stuff just makes you feel cursed by the racing gods sometimes. Adri with a penalty now. Oh, he got rear wing damage too, eh? Apparently, Adri also has rear wing damage, so that makes a lot of sense because Lunar did plummet right into the back of him, and the initial contact wasn't bad, but I think because Adri was pushed into a wall, Lunar would have then hit his rear wing harder once again, right? So there was definitely Adri's losing a ton of time to Lunar right now. And Puff is going to catch him, so Adri driving severely compromised at the moment. Zenith does pit finally. So Zenith will probably come out. He's definitely not going to be in front of RC. He's not going to be in front of Sharpshooter either. Or Sam. It really is. This is not good for Zenith. Just come out behind a bunch of guys who aren't pitting for a while. Onto the medium. Now those go to the end from here probably. 15 laps, I think. I think he's two-stopping, hoping a safety car. It's interesting. I'm glad he's doing it. I'm glad somebody's doing something different because it'll be something fun to keep an eye on as the race progresses. But for now, we'll leave Zenith check in on the action at the front. Zimoglis pressuring Brian for third right now. These guys running on the sort of expected strategy, I guess you would call it. Soft, medium, or hard, or some variation of it. So, these guys with the best chance at the podium. And Brian now closing on Asylum. Starting to drop Zimoglis a little bit. Zenith's made it by Vinny already. Did not take him long. He's got 3.5 seconds to Sam, and then Sam is 3.5 seconds behind RC. So I guess there is a bit of clear air to work with. Zenith kind of had to make an overtake there, but now he is sort of in clear air, so likely will end up in front of everyone once again. And then if he continues to just pump laps, and I suppose even if he has to pit again, he's going to be fine. RC now and within striking distance of Zimoglis, so still a ton to play for at the front here. There's some good battles going on in the back here. Lunar and Beck chasing down Grim, chasing down Vinny. RC having another solid night so far. He's had some pretty good drives this season. It hasn't always ended well, but see if he can keep that up. He's in the top 5 currently. That'll be a good result. Puff just picked up another penalty. Yeah, Adri is just losing a ton of time. Puff has really reeled him in. And Adri on better tires as well, so he's severely compromised at the moment. Sharpshooter's out in the pit lane, it looks like. Okay. Should be okay then. Nice little battle going on here. Got Grim, Vinny, and Lunar. Up at the front, we got Brian and... Oh, there's a big moment for Lunar. Huge crash there, and that is not what you're looking for. Man started on pole position, and he has had a miserable time of it since. He's got nothing left on the front. He's lucky he's not out, to be honest. That was a pretty good whack. He's going to be very slow getting back to the pits, and his night is in shambles at the moment. Not very good. Asylum in the pits. First medium runner to pit. Where is he going to come out? He's going to the hards. Yeah, I mean, they definitely will go to the end from here. I'm surprised Jenna didn't go to the hards. He definitely would have made it. I guess he thinks the mediums will last. Let's ride on board with Jinnit. We're going to ride around a lap of Spa here. Now, the pit window happening. There's not much going on battle-wise, so take this off the screen and we'll give you a nice little view and just listen to the race. Alright, Jinnit gets by. Sam obviously dove into the pits. I think Jinnit would have had him, if not down this street, down the Kemmel Street for sure. And so now with the pits happening, everybody going to be shuffled up a bit, and we'll kind of see where everyone filters back out. Jinnit's jumped ahead of everyone. Puff with another penalty. Oh my, Zamoglis on the pit exit is smacked into the barrier. He damaged his wing doing that. Oh, what's he doing? Did Did he just rage quit? Kind of looks like he did. No, that doesn't cause a safety car because it's very illegitimate otherwise. I think it's cleared. Yeah, so he's out. It's unfortunate that I caught that on the stream because it's very suspect. I wonder if he had a problem with his wheel because it didn't look like the car was really driving right, and it looked like he almost crashed into that other car coming along. Let's see. Jinnit now in very clear air. I mean, if Jinnit's going to the end, he's got Say and Brian covered by a mile. Like, if he can make those mediums go to the end, he's good. He's good to go. Even if he has to pit the softs, he'd probably be able to catch them. Yeah, classic Zem. We'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to speculate, but that's why you don't drink and drive, folks. No, it's presumptuous of me. I don't know if he's been drinking, but I know he does like to have a drink. He likes to have a drink. Asylum making a move around the outside, and they get very close to one another. Another close contact there, but leaving each other just enough space to do the racing nice and clean. Beck and Asylum still wheel to wheel down the hill. That's the no-name corner. And Beck has the slight edge right now. If he gets just enough room, he can close the door, and he does. So Beck ahead. Asylum trying to get by on the fresher tires. Yeah, not too sure. It was really weird. He, like, coming out of the pit exit, he just kind of smacked the wall a little bit. And then it looked like he just didn't feel like continuing. You know, I wouldn't say it was extremely erratic or anything, but it definitely was like, oh, he's clearly not driving the car properly. Is that intentional or is that an accident because something broke? Asylum should get back here. I'm surprised he hasn't got by already, but say into the pits. Jinnit goes ahead, and there's only Brian ahead of him on the road now, and Asylum down the inside into the bus stop chicane does get the place. He should have that covered. Back on much older tires, doesn't have the grip. Say out on mediums, going to be much fresher than Jinnit's. What's the delta? Look at this, perfectly timed from Say. I mean, he's had such a great season. He's come in with no experience driving without assists and just been really on his game. And then right there, you know, he comes into the pits and comes out ahead of all of the traffic that he has to be concerned about. Now it's just 12 seconds up the road to Jinnit, and we don't know, is Jinnit going to the end? Is Jinnit going to pit to softs and try to chase down Say? It's really tough to say. If I was Jinnit, I'd probably try to eke those tires out, make sure they're going to the end, maybe start doing some tire management. Maybe he's already been doing that, we don't know, but he's been quick, and he's got Say on the hunt now, so see if Say can close that gap in the next 9 laps. Here with Vinny and Asylum. Best battle we've got going right now. Comes Asylum going around the outside on the bus stop this time. And he does get ahead. Again, much better tires. Should have the grip to get away. Vinny shouldn't be able to catch him. Grimm into the pits, Brian into the pits. And the race to the end is on now. Asylum. Is he going to come out in front of Brian Scott? It is going to be extremely close. Brian's right there. Brian is going to get passed by Vinny, perhaps. He has to hang on to this. This is huge for Brian to stay in front. And they're wheel to wheel up the hill. Oh, my goodness, on the cold tires. Oh, man, that would have been heart in your throat moment. Whew. Oh, jeez, that was close. And they're still side by side. Whoa! That was... Vinny, I think, was looking in his mirrors a little too much, and he missed his braking zone there. And Brian Scott goes through. Now he's on the tail of Asylum. And RC through as well on the fresh hard. So, yeah, Vinny, I was going to say he went really deep. He was carrying a lot of speed into that braking zone, and I figured something was going to happen. Looks like he ran into the back of Beck, perhaps. He's got a big piece of that wing missing. And that's going to be hurting him for sure. Yeah, here comes Sam. Trying to get by the Strucken Williams at this. Back up the road. Really pulling away now. I don't know if Vinny let Beck back through. I'm pretty sure it was him that he ran into. But he definitely was trying to let him through. Let a couple other cars go as well, RC. And Brian. So Brian on the mediums, very close to Asylum on hards. That's gonna be a good little battle. Asylum he's close to save. I don't know if he's gonna be able to catch him. Say 12 seconds behind Jinnit with 7 laps to go. And I would say he's not taking the pace out that he needs to. And is Jinnit wringing the neck of the mediums? Is he using it all up? Or is he managing that gap? Is this all about survival at this point? If Jinnit can just if you keep him a second a lap even is enough to win it. So it's either some really good managing from Jinnit, or he's wrung the neck of these tires and he plans to get out on the softs again and do another hunt down. But say at this stage has to push regardless of what he thinks Jinnit's going to do. He needs to push hard. He's either got to cover a fast car on softs or close that gap down. So Beck, I guess he's thinking he's going to go to the end here. I wonder if Puff is thinking the same. Oh, man. It's tough talking along the whole time. Throat's very dry. Yeah, Beck. I mean, Puff's got 2 points right now. I mean, he's not catching Grim. Grim doesn't count anyway, so Puff actually has 4 points. And Andrew's not going to catch Puff, I don't think, with that hampered car, even with Puff's old tires. So if Puff pits, he can probably catch Audrey, but he's going to have to do it now. He doesn't really need to pit, though. I think he can just sit there and collect his points at that point. Just 1 second. I'm just going to get a drink here. Say is starting to close that gap. I mean, at this stage, Zenith might as well just go to the end. Problem now if Puff pits is he's got Vinny to worry about. Vinny on fresh mediums is well within range of beating Puff. So I think Puff kind of has to stay out. I don't think he can risk coming out and having to race those two behind him, Vinny and Lunar. Sam must have had a moment there because Beck is all over him. Beck doing a really nice job on these old tires. Keeping that pressure on Sam. Maintaining that gap to Grimm behind. Big moment there. Beck runs wide. Probably got a warning for that. Should have the penalty situation. Puff has 6. That's a problem for Puff, isn't it? He really does have to worry about Vinny. Those tires are going to be in bad shape by the end too, so we need some really solid driving from Puff. Oh, Zenith does pit. He goes to softs. And is he going to come out behind Asylum? He is, so I think he won't get DRS here. That's not good. He needs the DRS. Is he going to be quick enough through here that he can go and he might be able to get Asylum down the straight on the brakes with the extra grip? He should be going quicker the whole time. No, he's not close enough. So next lap for Zenith. Then he's got 5 seconds to make up to Say. I don't know if he should have pit. I think he might have had that covered. I'm surprised. Surprised he decided to pit. Maybe it was a dangerous scenario with the tires because Beck has come off them as well. And he's now behind Puff. And I mean, Puff for sure has to stay out now. He's going to give up position to Beck as well. He's probably going to lose that anyway. Time penalties. Beck has 3, Adria has 3. It might be okay, Puff. Zenith, you know what? Zenith might get through before the bus stop chicane. He's probably going to get by. He's going to have a lot more grip out of the run here. Asylum looking good for a podium potentially here, though. Well, he does have that penalty. That's going to hurt him. Brian Scott is within range to snatch that final podium spot. Zenith, yeah, can't make it. Can't get the move done. Maybe down the front straight here, he'll get a chance. Get that DRS open. And he just, I don't think he wants the DRS to be given to Asylum. He's going to follow him up the hill and then he's going to get it done. He really does have to get after Say, though. He's absolutely soaring now. I don't think Asylum is even going to try to do anything. He's just going to tuck it and get a nice toe. And it's on for Zenith. He's got to unleash every bit of horsepower, battery, tire life, everything he's got here. 4.5 seconds to Say. He's got 3 laps to do it. And it's, what, about 21 kilometers roughly. I think 7-kilometer lap. So it's a fair bit of racing to do, even though it is only 3 laps. Apparently some kind of timing issue again with Sam. Beck and RC having a little scrap here. Beck on the fresh softs, trying to make his way back through. Puff Digital right up behind them now. Looks like Adri's holding up Vinny pretty nicely, so this is working out for Puff. Puff definitely has to hang on to the end here. Can't afford any more penalties either. And Jenna with the fastest lap, no surprise. 3.5 seconds, 2 laps to go. I guess 3 technically. This one, next one, in the final lap. Alright, let's get back to this little battle. Grim, Beck, and RC. Beck should make quick work of Grim down the Kemmel Straight. RC trying to hang on. Puff starting to give away to Adri a touch, and I might bring Vinny into his penalty range. He's going to have to be extremely cautious over the next couple laps to not lose that gap. Adri also has 6 seconds, so he's not a concern for Puff, but Vinny behind him does not have penalties, so something that Puff's got to keep an eye on for sure. Janet's got the gap down to 2 seconds now. He'll be seeing Sei's gearbox a little bit more clearly. Sei will start to see the orange McLaren pop into his mirrors. And the race is on. Beck looking to make the move. I think he's going to get it done this time. Around the outside with the DRS. Grim doing a nice job hanging on, though. Grim hanging in there. It may not be as easy for Jinnit as we think. Jinnit also has a penalty to cover. So he's not only got to get in front, but he's got a 3-second penalty he's got to erase. Sei will have a little bit of confidence about that. I think that'll help him. We're coming on to the final lap now, though, and Jinnit has not got ahead, so I don't think he's going to make up 3 seconds unless he's in front going down the Kemmel Straight. It's going to be very close for Jinnit here. He is right on the tail of Sei. Looking to push that Williams through the hairpin, and we head down the Kemmel Straight. I mean, this is it for Jinnit. He has to get in front here. He is closing quickly. He's going to get that DRS advantage. That should give him a lot more speed. Sei is doing a fairly good job, though. It's not going to be as clear cut as Jinnit hoped. Oh, Jinnit! No. Well, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say about that. Sei did nothing wrong. Jinnit didn't slow down even a slight morsel. And I don't really blame him. He knows he's getting a penalty, so he's got to get on with it, right? The only chance he's got at winning the race is to out time any penalty he might get for that. He's going to put Asylum into second, Save into third. Say will get second because Asylum's got that 3-second penalty. Oh, Say did not need to do that. 6.6 off of Janet. Asylum third, Sam fourth, Brian fifth. Beck. He's gonna bring it home in sixth, but I think RC is gonna get sixth. What happened to Puff? He stayed out on those tires. Did he get a puncture? Or did he just have some kind of mistake? His tires just must be dead. Yeah, they're blistered like crazy. Weird. I ended up at the back. He must have had a spin or something, but 21 lap old hards, it's no surprise. All right. All right, so interviews, Janet Say, and Asylum. Let's get those guys in there. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's unfortunate how that happened. It's unfortunate that that's how the race was won. I wouldn't say it was intentional, though. I'm assuming Janet just had so much more grip that Say probably had a little wheel spin and he just kind of clambered right into the back of him. Just like it's a tricky place to be that close, and I'm assuming, you could see Janet in the corner entry was right on the tail of him. So any slight mistake where Janet's on the power and Say lifts for a second, that's what's going to happen, right? So might not be as bad as it looked, but let's get this party going. And hopefully everybody is civil. If not, I'm just going to cut the stream. So I know it's probably a little bit of emotion there with what just happened. I would say it didn't look intentional by any means. I think it was just because they were so close. There was such a tiny margin of error. So obviously stewards will take a look at that. They'll decide what is to come of it. And we'll go from there. Yeah, I agree.
Man, I feel rough about that. Like,
yeah,
so I just said he locked up mid corner, and I'm like 3 times behind. I can't like swerve when I'm 3 times behind.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I didn't even know what to say because it's like you were
I had
so.
the 3-second pen. Even if I overtake him, he would have stayed behind. My tires were done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But given
one of them, I just I just
Yeah.
like P1 on track with a pedal, you know what I mean? But I don't want it like that.
Yeah, but I would say like circumstances there was just a tricky one because like you were so bloody close that like what I was saying was like you being on the power, say has a slight issue and has to lift for a second, and you're so close that you're just boom right into the back of him, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those weird ones. I was
Oh, yeah.
surprised. I was surprised that he stayed in front, to be honest, into that corner. I thought you'd had him done for dinner,
No,
but the
no way I
penalty
wrestle.
too, right? So
Yeah. The penalty was
yeah,
stupid. I
yeah.
turned it into like at the top of our rouge too early,
Yeah,
and
I
that
mean,
was
a
it.
lot of people picked him up today, and I think that that's the thing. You know, sometimes you go around the lap so many times that a rouge just doesn't feel right that one time, and you end up cutting it because you're like, well, I better run over the tarmac than end up in the barricade. So,
Oh
um,
well.
yeah,
My strap paid off, but I didn't want it that way. Like as
yeah,
soon as
yeah,
I saw Luna on the hards, I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to switch to the soft 5 seconds
yeah.
I was
because I
thinking
know
the same
Luna.
thing. I was like, it's
Because
soft, medium,
yeah,
soft.
because
Hmm.
Luna would have been the cork in the bottle for like a lap and a half, 2 laps, and that would have gave me like 4 or 5 seconds. And obviously,
Yeah,
Say overtook him, and
yeah.
then Say had a bit of pace. Like after
Mm.
like 4 laps on the soft, started to close in, and that was it. Like I thought, yeah, box on the mediums, see if I could make him last. And then lap 17, I was like 65%. They wouldn't have lasted. So no choice but for the softs.
Yeah, let's do these interviews quickly here. We got say finished second, Asylum will take third, and Jeanette obviously first. So we'll start off with sorry, Asylum in third. A really good race for you, actually. Nice result. Got on the podium. You were right there in qualifying. The race strategy looks like it paid off. Lunar did well in qual. He started on pole and was just kind of nowhere in the race. Then he got tangled up with Adri, and it just really unraveled for him. So Asylum going into the race, like you know, was your car sort of set up for a good race? Obviously, with the wet qualifying, dry race, did you obviously probably put a setup in that was meant for the dry and kind of just struggled through qualifying to try and have a better race session, and how did that pay off for you?
So yeah, I did. I grabbed a dry setup and I was like, let's give it a couple more clicks of wing. But I made sure my rear wing was solid so that if it was dry, then I could just go back. So it's kind of like a hybrid setup. But yeah, that first corner was crazy. I don't know what happened. Someone drove me way wide. I'm surprised I got back on so cleanly, but yeah, I'm guessing people had wet setups on because throughout the first couple laps, 5-6 laps, people were just dropping back, and I was like, wow, I'm so glad that I picked that hybrid dry setup. But props to Say, if he did pick a wet setup, damn, good job, bud. And like Jeanette said earlier, I was really contemplating the soft hard or the soft medium soft strategy or the hard soft. 22 laps is nothing in this game, but the tire wear and the heat that could be generated,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's just a lot to think about. So I played it safe, but it paid off, and I did. I picked up a stupid penalty on El Rouge. Ugh.
It happens. I'm the king of them.
But other than that, it was a great race. I mean, I'm sweating my balls off. But
Yeah, definitely a really good result. Hard fought. It was not such a sure thing as it was for Say and Jeanette. They looked like they were. Jeanette had the pace, obviously, get in that podium place, and regardless of the strategy, and Say obviously lightning quick on the hard tires. So we'll move on to Say. Really good start. The hards fired up for you right away. Did you work them in well on the formation lap? Or was it just you just feeling dialed in there and were able to make up some ground quickly?
I definitely warmed them up as much as I can during that formation lap. And yeah, they were like at 82 once we lined up. And start was okay, but then like I think Adri locked up into Asylum, and I just went for the switchback. Got me into P3, and I don't know what happened, but I just ended up P2 at the end of the straight. But yeah, tires felt good. No complaints. I thought they were nice. They were good.
Yeah.
until like lap 12.
Yeah, obviously a really strong race. Worked out really well. You ran a pretty standard strategy there, and then obviously Jinnit at the end there, just that little. I guess you had a tiny moment. Jinnit was just so close to you that he couldn't move and ended up nosing you off the road there. So really, really unfortunate ending. You definitely deserve the win. I feel like you kind of hang your hat on that. Technically I didn't win, but I should have won. You had the pace to do another really solid race. I mean, we're beyond the mid-season point now, and you came in here with very low expectations, and I mean you're stringing wins together, and I guess you're in the championship hunt. So you got to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, other than the collision, I'm very pleased with I didn't expect a podium this week, but here we are, P2. I mean, unfortunate with the Jinnit collision, but hey, I made a mistake. But I'm still gonna try to report it, but I doubt it will work. But hey, it's racing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, these things happen, and we just gotta move on.
Yeah, it was. At first it looked. I had such a weird angle because I was at the far end of the chicane, so sort of like where you'd exit after the second turn. And it looked like Jinnit kind of just ran into the back of you, but obviously, sounds like you both agreed that there was a little error there, and obviously with Jinnit, chasing you so closely, he was probably within a tenth or two of you, and you just can't react to stuff like that in that kind of a corner. So super unfortunate, but you guys were racing well, and yeah, like I said, you deserved the win today, and Jinnit, I think even if Jinnit had gotten by, I think you'd hung in that 3-second window and got the dub anyway, so kind of unfortunate.
Not a single warning that race.
Yeah, that's really good, actually, no warnings. Yeah, we'll move on to Jinnit. Jinnit wins the race, obviously, like you said, it's not the way you want to do it, but it's gonna... It'll probably end up in the steward's room, and I doubt there's going to be enough there for anybody to do anything, so you should hang on to that win, even if there was a 5-second penalty. I think you had that gap covered anyway, so nothing too concerning in that sense. So you'll probably get the points there, and maybe makes up for some of those bad luck things that have happened to you throughout the season. You kind of get it back the other way this time.
Last week was so frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean,
I'm so sorry, Janet. I tried to get you in so many times.
Nah,
it just
it's
not working.
not that. It's just EA being EA as per usual.
Yeah, you just can't get through their horse shit sometimes. So, all right, guys, we'll wrap it up. It's 9:25, nice and early. Streamlined interviews with Arbeega. Next week we'll go back to the 20-minute interviews with GP. Yeah, where are we next week? Belgium, we got to be...
Netherlands, isn't it?
Netherlands? Yeah. Unless we voted it out.
Yeah, unless it's...
Yeah, you did.
It's
Imola.
It's Imola?
Monza.
Ah, excellent. I like Monza.
0 wings incoming.
Yep.
Alright, guys. Great job, everyone. Podiums again, and hopefully we'll see you back here next week. And later this week, Tier 2, Tier 3, Wednesday, Thursday night, they'll take on Spa, and we'll move to Imola. Or not Imola. Damn it. Got me. Move on to Monza next week, the Italian Grand Prix. So we'll be looking for some Ferrari podiums. Alright, guys. That's it for the night. Everybody have a good one, and we'll catch you next time.